Okay, here we go. And so yesterday we talked about weighted mean when it's percentages, and now we're going to talk about involving repetition. Okay, so multiple items. The weighted mean calculation can be used in another situation. There's repetitions of entries, right? Repetition of entries in the data set. But watch this. The end result is the same as the arithmetic mean. The calculation may be easier and faster. I'll put that in brackets, it's faster. Okay. And I'm just going to quickly bring this up here. So let's just make a data set real quick. Okay, so we're going to go 3, 3, 3. Got that? 3, 3, 3. And then we're going to go 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. So 5 fours. Put down 5 fours right next to each other. Then we go 7, 7. And then we're going to put down 9, 9, 9, 9. That's 4 nines already. We're going to make it 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 nines, okay? So let's say this represents like the number of times somebody has been to the theater this year, right? So you have 3 people that will have said, well, I went 3 times this year. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that said I went 4 times, right? 2 that said I went 7 times. So it's kind of like your data entries is repeated, right? Multiple people are saying this, giving the same answer. So what we would do normally, right? If I give you a bunch of numbers, forget about the fact that they're repeating right now. You would add up every single one individually, and you would get 106. Sorry, I'm fast forwarding. This gives you 106 if you add it up. So just write it down here. The arithmetic mean 106 divided by 17. We have 17 values. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Right? So that would give you 6.24, and we're just going to put down units. This is the arithmetic mean. And then right next to it, we're going to use a different method. And we're going to call that the weighted mean. It's just the way it's calculated. So let's go back to our set and group them up. We have the 3's here. We have the 4's there, the 7's, and the 9's. I kept the numbers low so it's easier to work with. So the number 3 shows up how many times? 3 times. Plus the number 4 shows up 5 times. Plus the number 7 shows up 2 times. Plus the number 9 shows up 7 times. This is just a faster, more effective way of dealing with repeated data points. But the number of values, has that changed at all? I'm still considering how many numbers in total. If you look at the set, I'm still considering 17 of them. So that doesn't change at all. So what does the top add up to, you think? 106. Yeah, I'm not even gonna I'm not even going to type that in. I know it's going to be the same thing. And I still have 17 values. So when I divide this, I still get 6.24 units. So the end result is the same, but can you imagine having hundreds of repeated values? Can you imagine adding like 100 sevens and not making a mistake? Like it would just be too much work. So that's when we use the weighted mean method, which always involves multiplying and then dividing by something. And it's the dividing by something that is probably the trickiest to figure out. So here we go. Let's I will just write down this is weighted mean. It's faster. Faster, more effective, easier. Done. Okay. I just wanted you to see, like, just remember, like, this, it's all connected, right? We're doing the same thing. So here's my example for you. I gave you a table, and I'm going to do one without a table. So when you're given a table, right, you have number of students, number of hours that they studied. In this case, it's a vertical table, but you will multiply them this way. Right? So circle them so that it sticks out when you review your notes. And you're going to multiply them like that. That's the first step you're going to do. Let's go ahead and find out put the values down right next to it. It's probably faster. I'm all about faster, but I still want you to show work, right? So that's 360. This is 1120. This is 450. And this is 3 times 6 is 18, right? So that's 180. First step you do is just multiply them across. Boom, boom, boom. And then add them up. So that's where I want you to move over to a proper, right? Proper way of showing your work. So let's add those products up. You remember that, right? That product means things like the result of multiplying numbers, right? So we're just adding those up, and that could be a table with 10 rows, right? So that shouldn't really matter. You show your work here anyways. But now this is the kicker. Which column? Only one of these columns will be added up and placed down here. Only one of them. And that's where I ask you to do this. This is what I call like the unit analysis. So we're going to do a little box here. And just look at the two things that you've multiplied. You've multiplied students and hours. Right? These are the two things that we've consistently been multiplying as you go through your chart. There's something we need to divide by to cancel out one of these. And that's where you need to read the question carefully. Let's go back up here and read what it says. Calculate the average number of hours studied per student. So it lies in here. Calculate the hours. So you want hours. That's what you want to remain. So what am I going to have to divide by? Students. I want to get rid of students. Sounds wrong, right? Out of context, right? I just want to get rid of the variable students, right? And so basically what you need to do is you go to your student column and add that up. So show that work, please. Don't just plug in a number. I want you to write down, right, that you're adding up the student column here, this column. And so I will just say that that bottom represents the number of students considered for this. survey. So now you can type this in. So I'm going to do that with you, right? So 360 plus 1120 plus 450 plus 180, that's 2110 divided by 120 plus 280 plus 90 plus 30. I get 520 students. And so when you divide this, you get 4.06 hours on average that students study for a test per week, just per week. Yeah. And I want to say this. I need you to understand it. Otherwise, like, I don't want to just teach you stuff. It's like, oh yeah, it's always this way, right? Like, what am I doing, right? Think about it this way. 120 students said that they studied 3 hours. So can you imagine adding 120 times, right? You don't want to do that. That's why we multiply them to get that, right? 280 students said 4 hours. Can you imagine adding? Good luck with that. Right, so that's why we're multiplying them across. We're adding that up, all of those hours, right? And I need to divide it by the number of students. Why? Because I want hours to remain. Okay, so what's the mode number of hours studied? You look at this one here, shows up most often, right? The mode is 4 hours. 280 students, right? So you need to be able to answer that just by looking at a chart like that. Just look at the one that appears most often. It could have been 6, it could have been 5, whatever. Okay. So I'm looking at my time. I want to do one more, and then we're done for today. And I will also give you some answers to practice. If you want to practice for Tuesday, then you should be able to do so. Okay, so enter job as a server at a restaurant, right? Go ahead. Glenna earned 2 tips of $6, 3 tips of $8, 3 tips of 10, and 6 tips of 12. You should recognize that this is repetition. You should recognize that. I hope you do. Watch what it says here. Calculate the mean tip using 2 different methods. We're not going to do that. We're not going to use 2 different methods. Sorry, I'm not going to make you add up 12 6 times. That's just, sorry. I think you get it. You're smart enough to figure that out. We don't want to do that. But calculate the mean tip. What is it asking for? The mean tip in what? In dollars, correct? In dollars. So please put that down. Because that is going to be important. I will not be as vague as they are here, but I will be pretty straight up with that. So weighted mean. Watch what I'm going to do. 2 tips of $6. 2 tips of $6. I'm going to go like that. Plus 3 tips of $8. Plus 3 tips of $10. So it's kind of like the same thing as the chart, except for there is no chart. I hope I'm speaking in a way that you can understand. I really want you to understand this, right? So you're done with that. Now you need to figure out, what am I going to divide this by? And this is where you do the side thing here. What were we multiplying the whole time? We were multiplying number of tips times a dollar amount. That's what you were doing the whole time. So you need to divide by one of them. We want the mean tip, right? We want that to remain. So in this case, you need to divide by the number of tips. And so cancel out. So we divide, right? Divide by tips. So we go over here, and there's 2 tips there, 3, another 3, and another 6, right? So you're adding up the tips column, and you're putting it down here. And I think we can do this like that, all over 14 tips. And when you add that all up, you get 138 divided by 14. So you're getting 986 is your average tip amount for this particular worker. Now, I also like to show you like how can you mess this up and figure out, wait a minute, this isn't right. Allow me to try the other method. Some of you are writing this down, so write it down first, and then I'll show you because it helps to know when do I know it looks wrong. Go ahead. Watch this. The 138, nobody should really struggle with that. So let's get the 138 in there. Let's say you would divide by the number of dollars. Let's say you go and add up all the dollars. So 6 plus 8 plus 10 plus 12, right? So you're adding up all the dollar amounts, and that's what you divide 138 by. And then you get that your average tip is 383. Does that make sense? An average tip of 383? No, because the lowest tip you got was 6, right? So you should expect a value that's bigger than the lowest tip you've ever received, right? So keep that in mind. If you add up the wrong column or the wrong category, your answer will not make sense. Okay, here we go. Backside. I don't want you to worry about 7. Don't worry about 7, but I'm going to ask you to work on these just two questions. So page 128, try question 9. Sorry, 8 and 9. So question 9 is on the back side. Okay? And I will also tell you that, right, so you don't forget, quiz Tuesday, May 3rd. Right? Tuesday, May 3rd. If you want extra practice, like even more than this, page 8 to 9 in the workbook. Okay? Pages 8 to 9 in the workbook. If you want to practice even more, I will post the key to that one, and then you'll know. You should know how to do it after that, right? So I'm writing this down on page 128 at the bottom there somewhere. So if you want to practice just 2 questions, do 8 and 9. If you want more, go to the workbook, pages 8 to 9. I think I'm just going to give you the answers to 8 and 9 now, okay? So in brackets, this should get you 2.12 sports. I'm just going to put 212. You figure it out. Is it sports? Is it like now you know already? It's kind of too late, but because I want you to see which one do I divide it by, right? And then on the back side, question 9, that one is 1885. Question 9 on the back side here. That's 1885, and I'll let you figure out the units there. All right, that's it for today, guys. You may